Previously on No Reserves Radio.
Oh my God, Angelo, come on, have some self-respect. The Eagles can't hurt you if you don't constantly pander to them.
Here's the biggest indictment of Dame that I can say. Dame has been so off this year that Ren went on live air and said Jalen Brunson deserved an all-star start over him.
You are now Angelo Didululo.
Do you think it is possible that the management of the Memphis Grizzlies are just buying into the reckless youth movement and they got rid of the one person in the locker room that probably was telling Ja to knock it off?
Because he's taken advantage of me multiple times when I was younger. That sounded bad. Holy shit.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think you're correct in that assessment.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to No Reserves Radio. I'm your host, Angelo. With me, as always, is Alex. And Alex, the schedules for the last week have been tough for both of us.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on, Angela? Yeah, schedule didn't really allow us to do a show last week because I had company events. You were on a very rough schedule in terms of like the times that you get off. You were getting off at like what 1 a.m. my time, so
Pretty
that's
sure, yeah.
never going to work. And yeah, the off day we really couldn't get a time on Friday. That's so we just couldn't really do it. We tracked our picks though, so that's something. And the results tell us that thank God we didn't do an
We suck.
episode. So we
Yeah.
would have lost you guys money.
That we suck at.
We were really bad this past week. So yeah, thank God
I
we
guess I
didn't do
really
it for
need that
that
time to
reason.
think and not just go off my instincts.
Yeah,
And
you
apparently,
need.
and what I learned is Will Levis is very good when I watch him. So
Oh yeah,
I just need to have every Sunday off, and Will Levis will be the best quarterback ever.
I'm not entirely certain if he's very good. Because he did throw pick six and he did get sacked like 7 times, or if he
Yeah, he
was
did.
just playing a very bad QB though. But I think it's the
Oh my
second one
God!
though.
Stop this.
Hey, we need to start having a chat about is Stroud starting to regress? Because oh boy, now that some adversity has kicked in, I'm starting to see some issues. Like the O-line
Quote
is creating
unquote
issues for them.
adversity.
I mean, it is like the O-line is getting rough. It's missing Diggs right now. Uh I don't know, man. It looked rough out there. Like he was making some boneheaded mistakes, and he was regressing quite a bit right now. Like versus a team
Okay.
that allowed like 7 sacks and a QB throw like a pick six. I don't know. Then he gets sacked for a safety to lose the game. I don't know if Stroud is all that.
Hmm.
You're still in the Stroud bandwagon, I would assume.
Of course, I'm his number one fan.
Okay. I guess the wheels won't take long to fall off. No? So.
This guy. I did get mercy though. I did, and the Houston Texans did it perfectly. By the way, I did get the mercy of not watching the Bengals give up 30 points and then lose, but it's okay because the Texans got me. The Texans fucking get the 30 points and lost when it looked like they were gonna win. So
Yeah.
hey, that's who won the Bengals. I said the Bengals award of giving up losing because you gave up a bunch of points. Tell me it's not the Houston Texans after giving up 32 to the Tennessee fucking Titans. Go ahead, tell me.
It looks like that, yeah. I mean, secondary looks rough. They look rough on offense. Everything looks rough right now with the Texans. They are the biggest pretenders out there right now.
The biggest pretenders?
And I would say so. The NFL darling, it's turning back into a pumpkin. I'm enjoying it though. That gives a chance to the best QB in the AFC South
What happened
to
to Jaden
maybe.
Daniels?
That's very interesting. There was like this weird graphic circulating about the dip and this was popping up last week on my feed. We didn't get a chance to talk about it. But there was like a graphic circulating about how Cliff Kingsbury's offenses tend to decline quite a bit after like
Mhm.
November or around November. They
Gotcha.
really take a peak. They really take a dive and they become really inefficient and just doesn't really work out all that well. And it seems like it's happening again. Like the offense looks discombobulated. Like Terry isn't really clicking. I mean, you look at the final stat line for Terry, and it looks okay, but he had like an 80-yard touchdown uh, late in the game for like almost as an Hail Mary, but like a short play that he took to the house basically in the last what minute and 30 of the game. So yeah, you look at all of that, and it's weird. Like, I don't even think it's a lock that he's rookie of the year right now. I think like Bo Nix has been making a very strong case. You look at the stats, like Bo Nix is well positioned right now to win rookie of the year.
Who's he now?
I believe the odds went from like plus 800 or plus 600 last week, and right now it's plus 100 for Bo Nix.
Hmm. I mean,
Yeah,
Bo Nix has been getting better every week. That is true.
I do feel like Denver eventually is going to hit like a wall in which like it seems like they are getting away with a lot of easy stuff versus a lot of easy competition. And
Hmm.
eventually they're going to hit that wall in which like we see Denver and it's just like, what is this team? Like they can't do anything. And I feel like that's going to come. I don't know when because their schedule has been quite easy so far. At least like this stretch in which he has looked good. I'm not taking anything away from him because he has really improved and he has really shown a lot. And as they're developing weapons like Marvin Mims right now is another weapon that is working fairly well and gives another dimension to this offense. And Vela is also working very well under this Denver Broncos offense, but it just feels like something is going on here. And as we're speaking about the Broncos, they have waived tight end Greg Dulcich. Remember when Dulcich was a thing?
I do. I do. I do. That's sad. Oh man, he tested really good too. I'm not gonna lie. You were on his bandwagon for a while.
I was, but I was more on the bandwagon of the backup, if you remember, like Albert Okwegbunom.
Uh-huh. Alberto. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
Alberto.
Alberto was the name that I really liked for quite a bit. I remember like offering up to like Austin and wherever, and I just read your comments like, "Who the fuck is Alberto, man?" And I was like, "Trust me, this guy's going to be decent." I mean, he had a stretch in there in which he looked okay, but it was very short-lived.
Yep.
But I remember using him in Madden, especially like when it was like when you were importing draft classes from future years. He used to be a beast for me. I remember really liking him, and
Brian,
I really like Lil Jordan
Brian
Humphrey
Logic.
that I
Oh my
drafted.
God.
I drafted them as well in a Madden. I don't know if it was like 19 in which I imported a class, and he was in there. It developed into a nice tight end for me. I flipped into a tight end, and so those are just guys that I have like weird soft spots for.
You're crazy. Uh, okay. I've done it too. I've done it. I did it with Terrace Marshall.
Well, that
Uh,
one is never going to work out.
yeah, I know. I need to have a movie for getting Terrace Marshall. Oh,
Oh, buddy. Okay.
it happened eventually. I was on the LSU wide receivers, and it happened. Malik Nabers and Brian Thomas Jr. They finally did it. They finally broke the curse. They
Yeah.
did it.
You were
Did
just
it,
kind
buddy?
of $1 short and a day late.
No, I got Malik Nabers and I got Brian Thomas Jr. in a few leagues, so I was
Did,
looking pretty, man.
did you get that many like Brian Thomas Jr.?
Not as much as I wanted, no.
Okay. I almost pulled a trade for him. in the Manning Face League.
Did you?
I almost
Who
did.
was it?
There was like a trade. That dude that is double F double G.
Yep.
He was floating around the idea of trading me Brian Thomas Jr. for
Four.
Darnell Mooney and David Montgomery. I was okay with it, but since he didn't know if he would make the playoffs, he didn't pull that trigger. So now instead of pulling the trigger and potentially making the playoffs, he got schlepped by me. And I
Wait,
don't know.
when was this? When was this deal offered?
We talked about it like during the week, like late
Oh,
last week and early this week.
then I need to DM him, and I need to get myself some Brian Thomas Jr. in my life.
Well,
That's
this
kind
is
of a fucking.
like the trade deadline. And he was basically like, I'm only doing this because I think I'm going to make the playoffs. And then he had some extra thinking about that. And he figured that he maybe wouldn't make it into the playoffs, or at least wasn't guaranteed. So he didn't want to like sell a bit cheaper on Brian Thomas Jr.
I'll offer him a good deal. Don't worry, buddy.
Hey, he lost right now. He might be 12-12 after this week is over. That's just going to put more uncertainty on him. So I'm not entirely certain if he's going to pull any triggers right now.
We'll see, buddy. We'll see.
Okay, so why are we here today, Angelo?
Because we suck. Go on.
So we're here today to actually make some picks. We're hoping
Oh,
for a
okay.
bounce back. So this past week I went 4-8. Angela went 5-7, although on the app it doesn't say so because we forgot to make the picks for Thursday Night Football. We made the picks in the chat. Um, when I was going to make the pick, I fell asleep like 2 hours prior to the game because I was exhausted. And when I woke up, it's like none of us made the picks, so that's great. But that just means I have to track this one game away from all of
Yep.
that.
You
So
lost again on Thursday. Congratulations, buddy.
again, again.
Congratulations.
Uh, for the recap for week 11, though, I won. Just want to say that I went 8-6. That's the week that we didn't recap. He went 7-7, so I got a win there. But this week it looks like I might lose, unless the Ravens cover. So if the Ravens cover, I'm on the Ravens. Angelo is on the Chargers. So maybe this one is tied, but right now it's 4-8 for me, 5-7 for Angelo. And that puts the overall numbers at Angelo is sitting at a nice and pretty 94-97.
I don't like those numbers. That's not nice and pretty for me.
Wait, no, you're 95-96. Yeah,
Still not
95 and
nice and pretty.
96.
Yeah.
You're
See, I'm
sitting at
not a loser like you,
95-96.
Alex.
I'm sitting at an 85 107. No,
That's even
106.
less pretty,
85
man.
106.
You can't take that to the prom, Alex. You definitely cannot take that to the prom.
I cannot. But we're improving.
If
I
you say
hope.
so.
We're at least making ground, hopefully. If this one ends tied, I've made 2 games. So that's something.
Oh man. Oh, I
Okay.
just want to
And
finish
this,
500 this year. That's what I
you're
want to do.
very close. You're like a game behind 500.
Yeah. I still got like 5 weeks though. 6 weeks. So anything could happen. Anything's possible.
Anything is possible.
Oh,
Okay.
except Alex coming back. That is not.
Hey, we'll see. Crazier things have happened. I'm sure. Like somewhere.
Okay. Go
Okay.
on.
So this week we have Thursday Night Football. We have what?
Thanksgiving.
Black Friday. Yeah, but we have Black Friday football as well.
Yep.
So we have like 4 games prior to Sunday. So that's fun. Then we have the primetime games. It's only one Sunday night football. Only one Monday night football. So we have effectively 6 primetime games. Which, okay, we can go with it.
Oh,
And the Thanksgiving specials are some of them are really good, man. I'll tell you right now. But we'll start with the first game on Thursday night football.
one of them is
Thanksgiving
really
football.
atrocious right now.
Yeah, for sure. But the first one, it's the Chicago Bears at the Detroit Lions. The Lions are 10.5 point favorites right now. They are
Yep.
playing at home. The Chicago Bears, since firing their OC, Shane Waldron, got good riddance. They've looked fairly good. Like they lost a game versus
Offense,
the
yeah.
Green Bay Packers. Yeah, like they lost a game versus the Green Bay Packers on a blocked field goal, which is just like okay. Then they got another field goal block this week versus the Vikings, which okay, let's have it. And then they lost in overtime versus the Vikings in the end because of a Caleb Williams mistake in the end because he held on to the ball too much. But overall, they have looked better as an offense. They have simplified things, shorter passes, running the ball a bit more. The offensive line looks to be holding up a bit more as well. So it just looks like they're finally giving him something here to work with. It's not like super complicated things that he needs to work out every single snap. It's just fairly simple stuff. Get the ball off his hands quickly and just go with that. So I'm liking what I'm seeing right here. The Lions just keep on churning along and just like basically killing everyone in front of them. So that's always fun. But I think 10.5 versus in division, like if you look at last year, the Packers had the Lions beat on both games. It was a very close game in both games. So like 10.5, I kind of like the Bears here. I think like they do enough to cover this number. They'll play them close.
So now here's the question. It is Thanksgiving, but is Alex's Thursday curse getting extended? There's 3 games now for Alex to potentially get wrong instead of
Am I
just the
getting
normal one.
all 3 wrong though?
Are you getting all 3 wrong? Are you getting all 3 right? What's going to happen? That's the question. I actually completely agree with your side. That said, I'm getting flashbacks from like agreeing with you on Thursday night football. Hmm. Because I think you're right. That said, Detroit looks absolutely unstoppable. Like I don't know if we've done but like when we do power rankings next, Detroit's number 1 for me. They look crazy.
Yeah.
You know what? I have no problem picking against Alex, especially against with Detroit being this red hot. Give me Detroit. Fuck
All
you,
right.
Alex.
Okay, I got it. They are probably going to be number 1 as well for me when we do the power rankings.
Yeah.
But you'll have to check out if that's true or not, because we still have one game this week, and it's the Baltimore Ravens, and I do like the Ravens quite a bit. So you'll have to wait and see for next episode that is dropping on Saturday.
I think I've readopted the Chargers. They've
Oh, you have
come back and
readopted. I mean, they are at least good now, so
yeah.
I'll give you that.
So this is probably going to be the worst game of the week. The Giants at the Cowboys. I honestly think this should be swapped out. Like if this was Bengals Steelers, I think this would be like a perfect Thursday night slate. Or even if you want to, well, not all the games are in division anyway. Packers Dolphins isn't in division. I was gonna say if you wanted to stay in division, you could have gone. God,
I rather watch the Raiders than the Chiefs.
then yeah, same. But that's the Black Friday game, man. Like I have the sneaky suspicion that it's national football. So Cooper Rush is coming off, if I'm not mistaken, 2 really solid games. Like really solid games.
Well, let's. I'm not sure if I would call whatever happened versus the Texans a solid game, or wasn't it versus?
Texans.
No, versus the Eagles. I wouldn't call like 45
Oh
yards
yeah, they got
passing
their
a
ass
solid
kicked, but I mean, he
game.
still threw for 350 yards. He still was performing better than the fucking 89-yard catastrophe that was his season debut.
Oh, okay.
And
So it was the Texans last week. Okay, I'm not
oh
crazy. Yeah, no, like he faced the Eagles in which he threw for 35 yards. Then he
yeah,
faced the Texans in which they got schlepped and they lost by like 24 points. He did put up like 354, but
okay, yeah, it was
it is versus the Texans though. So you kind of okay.
this guy.
And he beat the Commanders like in a
Yes, he
very
did beat the
weird
Commanders.
game that we'll talk about at length Saturday.
So my
Wait,
instincts are telling me the Giants are the go-to here. I don't know why, but I feel like the Cowboys have this kind of like false hope attached to them, and I think that we're about to see the classic primetime Cowboys flounder. I'm going to go with the Giants here. I'm going to trust my instincts. I think Malik Nabers can score enough points to beat the Cowboys. Cooper Rush has a bad game. It's more than possible.
think I'm going to lean exactly as you did. Like I still
Oh
can
shit,
trust Cooper Rush. I'm not sure if I like being on the same side as Tommy Cutlets.
he's
But I
questionable.
guess it's questionable. Okay, so I guess Drew Lock would give me a bit more hope. But the Tommy Cutlet thing, it's that is just great. And plus Dayball has really lost the locker room. I don't know. I kind of want to flip, but I really hate the Cowboys. But at
Well,
this
then just
point,
let me flip, and then I'll have the
no,
Cowboys.
I'll flip. I'll flip. I'll take the
Okay,
Cowboys minus two and a half. I'll
okay.
just go with the team that I think the coach hasn't like 100% lost the locker room. I think he's just like lost it by like 85%. So I'll take the Cowboys minus two and a half. It's not even a field goal, which I'm guessing it's probably going to be by tomorrow when the lines close. So I'm going to get fucked on this one. I can already feel it because when it closes, it's going to be three and a half, and the Cowboys are going to win by like three, and I'm fucked. So yeah, that's just going to be great. But give me the Cowboys minus two and a half. I'll go with the coach that hasn't lost the entire locker room. He still has like Cavante Turpin playing for him. Okay. The Miami Dolphins at the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are 3.5 point favorites. Everyone and their mama is going to bet on Green Bay. Like, it's cold. It's a primetime game. It's Miami versus a team with a winning record. It's Jordan Love looking just. I'm not gonna say great because there's still like a lot of things about Jordan Love which I'm left just wondering why you're doing this.
It's also
Uh
Miami going into Wisconsin in
yeah, it's
November,
the
late
cold, man.
November.
Late November, like it's going to be cold as fuck. Tua playing in the cold, but something is telling me that is too obvious. That is like this is the spot in which Miami lose by 30. So why is the line 3.5? Why isn't the line like 6.5 when they just beat like the what everyone's favorite current dark horse to make the playoffs. Like it's the team that is going to turn it around eventually because Kyle Shanahan and you have to like just suck your dick at every opportunity that you got. The Niners and they just beat the Niners by like a gazillion points. So it's like, why isn't this line like 6.5, for example? Just, just intriguing. Like they're telling you that these teams in a neutral field, it's like the
It's
Packers
basically
are
pick 'em.
one. Yeah, it's a pick 'em. It's like the Packers by a point, basically. All of this just tells me that this is probably a trap line. I'm gonna go with Miami plus 3.5. Plus, I like what Miami has been doing recently. Like, Tua has been playing very well the past two games. I hope it continues. And like the Packers, I think they make a few dumb plays every single game, uncalled and forced errors.
They do.
So gonna go with Miami plus
Jordan
three and
Love
a
is
half.
definitely closer to Brett Favre than Aaron Rodgers. That's for damn sure.
Like I remember seeing this play this past week, in which he throws a deep, pretty ball to Christian Watson, and Watson just drops it. Like the ball hits him in his hand, and he drops it. And it's like I believe then it's 2nd and 10. They are like what? They're like 5 yards or 8 yards away from field goal range, and he drops back. He just throws another deep ball this time to like I don't know, like Romeo Dobbs or something, and the ball is overthrown. And then on 3rd and 10, it's like, okay, just get the 8 yards and kick the fucking field goal just to be like up 2 scores or something like that. He drops back and he throws another deep bomb. It's like he's trying to chase the one that he lost at the first time. And it's just like, you don't really need to do that. You're already up. Just get the points, be up by 2 scores, and just let it go. It feels like there's something in there that needs to be tuned. They leave by those big plays. And I feel like that's going to fuck them eventually. So give me Miami plus three and a half.
I will take the easy Green Bay.
That's technically Thursday night football. So that's
Yeah,
the
but
one game. Like
one
I
of us is going to be at least 2-1.
for sure. Because that one
So,
is the one at least one of
all
us is
right.
going to get
Las
this game
Vegas
right.
at Kansas City. Oh, man. Kansas City is favored by 13.5 points. Oh, buddy. Friday. Oh, this is technically this is okay. This is the game that Alex is going to predict wrong. Got it. This is the Amazon game. This is technically the quote unquote Thursday night game.
Well, no,
The
there's
Amazon got
literally a Thursday night game. There's a game happening Thursday night.
right, but what is Thursday night football presented by?
Amazon.
There you go. This is the game that Alex is going to predict wrong.
And you have the first say. So I really
Damn it.
can fuck us both up.
I'm taking Las Vegas. I think 13.5 is just way too many points for like Kansas City. They lost, then they got their revenge game. Now the steam's about to come down.
Wait, what revenge game did they get? Is like beating Carolina by 3 points in a sweaty game a revenge game? Is that what we're
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
Oh, if that's what we're saying, then Kansas City's down bad, buddy. I kind of want to go with KC. Just feel like this is the true, like, blow everything up game. And they just, like, they beat the Raiders by 50. Raiders led by AOC this week. And, like, the whole Kermit the Frog thing comes back up. And it's like, it's the true Mahomes revenge. But I feel like I had that same narrative versus Carolina, where this is the game in which, like, their eyes are now
It looked like they were
open.
going to kick Carolina's ass at the start.
Yeah, man, they just fell asleep. I want to say that this game goes a bit like that one, but they don't fall asleep, and it's just like full gas until the end because it is a divisional game and because it is the Raiders. So I guess give me KC minus 13.5. But I really
Okay.
should have gone with you, just so I could fuck
Yeah, you should have.
both of us.
Yeah, just so you can fuck both of us. Exactly. But nope, you were the nice guy. So now you're probably going to get it right.
Let's see how it goes.
The gods
Okay.
will shine bright upon you.
Okay, now this one is interesting because the
Let me just
Chargers
say that
haven't
the
played.
audience kind of did get hosed by us not having a show last week. They missed what would have been the Bengals Chargers rant. They missed the Caleb rant. They just missed everything. They missed everything.
The Anthony Richardson victory lap.
Yep, they missed everything. We
Hey,
are eventually gonna.
I guess we're gonna talk about it a bit on Saturday. So if you want to hear all about that,
It's going to be a
stay
long
tuned.
Saturday, friend.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a long show. I would guess. So let's try and cram that in there. Talk about as much as possible there. because we have a few things missing. So we're pulling overtime. Okay. This one is interesting because the Chargers haven't played yet.
Yep.
And depending on how this goes, I can see the line flip either
You mean
way.
after
Like I
they
can
beat the Ravens?
I don't think they will beat Ravens. I actually think, like, and this is maybe a hot take, this is one of those games in which I would take the Ravens outline because I think, like, they beat the Chargers today by over 10 points.
That's fake news. That's
We'll
bigly
see.
fake news.
We'll see. In like 2 hours, we should know. But all of this to say, like, this game, it's the Chargers at the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are 1.5 point underdogs right here. I feel like if the Chargers win this convincingly, this line probably goes, what, 3.5? And if they lose, it's probably Atlanta by 3.5. If they lose how I think they will lose, it's probably going to be Atlanta at the 3.5. So I think I'm going to go with Atlanta plus 1.5 purely because of that. Purely because I think the line is going to shift in the direction of Atlanta. So Atlanta is going to be favored by the time this closes and after Thursday Night Football. So yeah, give me Atlanta plus 1.5. Off a bye, rested. Uh, the Chargers are off a short week as well.
You're making some solid cases. You're making some solid arguments.
And it's a big travel, isn't it? From like LA to Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah, that is across the country. That is
Yeah.
across the country.
Short week, no rest.
But you know what? I'm going to let them hurt me. Give me the Chargers. Give me
Oh,
the goddamn Chargers.
I think you're about to let the Chargers hurt you twice in a row.
Twice in a row.
Twice in
Without
a
knowing a
row.
single result.
Nope.
Alex, we need to talk about this line. What's up?
I don't know, man. Like,
So let me get this straight. No.
Angelo wants to get this straight because he's looking at a line right now. And Cincinnati is minus 2.5 point favorites versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're playing at Cincinnati. They're off a bye week. But Pittsburgh, I mean, Pittsburgh has a long week here as well. Like, they have extra rest. They played on Thursday Night Football, and they have looked, for the most part, especially on defense, they have looked quite interesting. They have looked quite amazing. Since Russ took over, I mean, this team is firing at all cylinders. Now, they did lose versus the Cleveland Browns, but it was a snow game. And it was one of those games in which I feel like, sort of have to agree with George Pickens. The Cleveland Browns were kind of lucky in that game, I would say. So
Sorry.
I'm not. Is
So let
this
me get
what
this
you were
straight.
thinking there?
No, the Bengals, who just came off giving up 34 points to the goddamn Chargers, are now favored in Cincinnati against one of the top defenses in the NFL. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this line?
And although
Like,
Cincinnati is off a
like have
bye,
the people who
Pittsburgh
made this
has.
not watched the Bengals this year?
It feels a bit like like the Jets in past weeks, in which like they keep losing, but they're still favored in every single game. And it's a bit like you guys here. Like you keep losing games, but you're always the favorite for some reason.
No, this is stupid. Give me the Steelers. This is a stupid line. This is a stupid, stupid line.
And this is a very stupid line. Give me the Bengals.
What?
Because I agree with that. I agree with everything. And it's like Pittsburgh it's like they have extra rest. They also play on Thursday. They played on Thursday Night Football, so it's not like they're a team playing with normal rest. No, they've rested a bit more here. I just feel like Cincinnati. This is their do or die moment. Like this is the game that they need to win. This is a
They
divisional
died
game,
already, Alex. They're dead. It's
but they're
over.
not dead. They're
They're
not dead.
dead.
Like if they
Stop it.
win this game, they're 5-7, and they got a divisional win. If
They're
they lose
dead.
this game, it's 4-8. It's over. Like you're not making the playoffs. If they're 5-7, you have a fighting chance.
They're
I
dead.
feel like this is a game where T. Higgins comes back healthy,
Let us die.
Burrow's back.
We already came.
No,
He already came back healthy.
no, he didn't came back healthy, quote unquote. Like now he has had extra time to rest. I don't know. I feel like this is the game where your y'all's back are against the wall, and it's time for Burrow to shine. And I feel like this is going to be a very
Man,
interesting game and
look,
very entertaining game.
Burrow has been showing every week. Burrow has 2 5 touchdown games in which we've lost. What are you talking about? What exactly more can this motherfucker do to scratch and crawl this sad, sorry, pathetic ass defense to a win? You're, so you're telling
Throw
me you have to see it? You're
touchdowns.
telling me you have to see us give up 30 points to Russell Wilson and the goddamn Steelers? You just have to
Yes.
see it.
This is the last time that I'll trust you guys. You failed me in a few situations. This is it. This is do or die for me.
You just have to see it one more time. Okay.
One
I've
more
seen
time.
enough. I don't want to watch it anymore. I fucking praised the fact we were on the bye. I'm tired. I'm tired, Alex. I don't want to watch anymore. I don't want to see it
I
anymore.
I know it's hard to be like the team that is not in first place. Like I couldn't relate actually because we're actually at top of our division and like it's hard for me to relate with the type of peasantry going around with the Bengals. But I do feel for you guys and I do like you. So I think I'm going to risk it
If you
one
feel
more
for us,
time.
let our season be fucking over, Alex.
This is not old Yeller yet. You're not being taken to the back and shot in the head. I feel like this is the this is it. This is the time that you turn your season around because if you go and finish the season like what 10-7, you're probably making the playoffs.
So let me get this straight. You think that the team that has pretty much given up 30 points to every team that we face, not named the goddamn Browns, who was in delusion into thinking that Jameis Winston wasn't their best fucking quarterback in the building. You think that team is going to win, let's see, the 6 straight games, 2 of which against one of, if not the best defense in the NFL. And then it's just going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine.
Feel like that's what I think. Yeah,
Okay. Whatever,
that's
man.
hey. If you guys lose this game, I'm probably done.
Whatever, man.
I have to experience it one more time.
The other 7 times wasn't good enough.
No,
Oh,
eight is the chart. Is the charm.
let me check some of these games. I fucking like. I've Cincinnati Bengals. I've like blocked off all of these games of my memory as if I didn't see it. Let's see. Hold on.
I know it's the
Let's
Ravens
let's let's
twice
see some
and
of
the
these
Chargers.
games. Let's see. Hold on. Let's go back to all the way back to week 1. Okay. 16 to 38 points against the Commanders. We decided to give up 24 points against the Panthers, 41 against the Ravens, 37 against the then 35 against the Eagles, then 34 against Alex, in the last. Hold on, I gotta do this math. Oh my god, this is so bad. Math, math, and math, and math, and math, and math. We did not pay the math budget today. Wait, no, I underestimated how many the Chargers scored in the last 4 weeks. Not half the season, not for the season. In the last 4 weeks, 4 weeks. That's what, less than a quarter of the season.
Yes, that is correct.
130 points.
I
That's how many
just
we've
want
given
to
up.
check.
That's how much we've given
100.
up. 130 points.
I just want to check something, which is
What do you
like
want to check?
where that
It's
alone.
32. It's 32.5 points a game, Alex. What do you want to know? Where does
How
that
many
rank?
points? How many points did you allow again?
32.5 a game.
No, no,
A
but
game.
like in total.
130.
Okay, so you in 4 games have allowed 13 points less than the Chargers have allowed in 10 games played.
Great.
The Chargers in 10 games have allowed 14.3 points. Jesus Christ, 143 points. So you have basically allowed the same points as the Chargers, but in like what, 6 less games. Good
And
stuff.
you think this has hope.
I have to believe it.
You can't just let good enough just die.
No, I still have a glimmer of hope for you guys.
What will you do if we give up 37 points against the Steelers?
Well, not bet you would be a start. Not bet on your team would very much be the one thing that I wouldn't do that I would do anymore. That's basically it. We'll go from there.
You're up next, Alex. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh boy, this one is just great. Houston Texans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags are 5.5 point underdogs, coming off a bye, probably starting Mac Jones versus the fraudulent ass CJ Stroud with the Texans. Can I pick neither? Can this game just like not happen?
I'm sure the Cowboys and Giants wish the same thing.
Yeah, I wish both of those games didn't happen. I guess I will just I'll take the team off a bye. Give me the plus 5.5. Yeah, I hate this pick. Like this one is most definitely not hitting, but I can't in good conscience pick the Texans to cover like numbers in general. Like I'm not even going to say by margin. I'm just going to say like cover numbers when they're favorite. Because like this team is a train wreck waiting to happen. So what happens when two train wrecks go against each other? Because we're about to see
Watch.
that. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm going to be doing. Just watch as it unfolds.
I'm going with the frauds, man. Give me the Texans.
So which okay, I was going to ask which side you were picking since both are frauds.
You couldn't tell by I'm going with the frauds.
No, because they're both frauds. Remember when
Okay.
people actually thought the Jacksonville Jaguars were good to start the
Yeah,
season?
I was one of them.
Yeah, I wasn't.
I learned really fast. I learned really fast. Oh no. All right. The Arizona Cardinals at the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings are favored by 3.5 points. Again, I think Arizona is just a nightmare when you're betting because they have games where they look like they should be last in the division, and they have games where they look like they should be first in the division. and you never know what you're going to get. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, and I think I figured out how to pick them.
All right.
So we'll see. We'll see.
I'm going Minnesota.
I think I figured it out. That is,
Give me it.
like when they go and they have a very iffy game in which like you've sort of lost hope in them, you pick them the week after. So like you watch them versus Seattle. I believe they had only 2 runs with any sort of success rate. And it was the 2 runs by Troy Benson. Every run that James Conner had, it had 0% success rate. And if I'm not mistaken, he went and ran for 1 yard per carry versus a Seattle team and defense in this case that has been very susceptible to the run. Now we did swap up the linebackers, the inside linebackers, and I do think like that has had a lot of success so far. But it's still like it was a game in which people really expected Arizona to sort of cruise and beat us after we beat the Niners. But it was a fairly like weird win in which like we looked like we were trailing the entirety of the game, and then we got the win very late, so it didn't feel like super deserved. And now, like everyone has lost hope at Carolina. Carolina looked terrible. On Arizona, Arizona looked terrible versus Seattle. So I think this is the spot in which you go and you take the Cardinals plus 3.5, which I think will be a fairly close game. I feel like Minnesota is going to win, but I like Arizona's chances. So give me Arizona plus 3.5. I feel like this is a big game for Marvin Harrison Jr. Because if there's one thing
Who?
the Minnesota for Marv, because if there's one thing that Minnesota can't do, it's cover number one wide receivers. So I feel like
But
this
thank God
is
Marvin Harrison Jr. is the number one wide receiver.
stop it. Who is
What?
Malik Nabers? Is that it right now?
Blake
The
Nabers
guy
is the number
catching.
one wide receiver on the Giants, yes. But the number one wide receiver on the Cardinals isn't Marvin Harrison Jr.
Who is
It's
it
Trey
then?
McBride.
A tight end.
The tight end, yes.
Okay, if you say so. I'm not even gonna argue with you. Well, we'll see.
You know
We'll
I'm
see
right.
what happens.
Of course you're not
We'll
going to
see.
argue. I'm right. What's there to argue against?
They have different roles. But hey, as a Trey McBride owner in a league that has money in it, I'm loving it.
Yeah, yeah, because you have the actual number one pass catcher in Arizona.
Pass
You were
catcher,
smart.
not wide receiver. That's like the whole point.
Yeah. Number one pass catcher is more important than the number one wide receiver.
All my point was, it's the number one wide receiver for them. It's not the number one pass catcher. Like the statistic is, they are
But
not great.
when you say this team struggles against number one wide receiver, you don't literally mean the number one wide receiver on the team. You
I
mean the best pass catcher on the team.
No, because then I'm talking about a different matchup. I'm talking about
Oh
linebackers
man.
versus tight ends. I'm not speaking of cornerbacks versus wide receivers, which is where they struggle. It's cornerbacks on the number one wide receiver on the team. A cornerback is not
Okay.
going to be covering Trey McBride. Otherwise, Trey McBride is getting 20 catches for 250 yards. Okay?
He pretty much did that last week, so I mean, what's your point?
They didn't cover him with a cornerback. We just like can't really cover tight ends. That's like the issue here.
Right. Anyway, Marvin Harrison Jr. hate aside.
It's Cardinals plus 3.5 for me, and that means
Okay.
I'm picking my guy. It's Indianapolis Colts at the New England
Oh,
Patriots. The
oh.
Patriots are 2.5 point underdogs. Just give me Anthony Richardson all day long. Even though like he has no supporting cast apparently in terms of like O line
They're all
or
hurt.
running back, yeah, and now Josh Downs is hurt as well. I feel like he can solve this. I've been liking what I'm seeing from him. He looks a bit more mature, and he looks like he's making better plays at times. But give
Yeah,
me
I'm
the
going with
Colts.
the Patriots.
Great.
Wait, what did I say?
That you're going with the Patriots.
Yep.
Yeah. Like Drake May is a riddle for me because there's so much
100%.
hype about this dude, and like I've watched
Yeah.
the
Thank you.
entirety
You're
almost,
welcome, Alex.
and I
Fucking
like him. I like him as well, but it's like I watched that Miami Dolphins game, and I'm told like he should be in the run for Rookie of the Year and whatnot, and he was super pedestrian for most of that game. But then he had like that one play in which he managed to evade every single pressure around him. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the one in which he threw the touchdown pass. So like that's enough to bring back the Rookie of the Year talks. But if you watch the entirety of the game, he looks very pedestrian at times. But he has that one well play at times, so that covers for it. I still like Adrian Richardson though. Give me the Richardson, give me the Colts. The Colts are still apparently alive for the division, so
oh god. The 6-5 Seahawks are 1.5 point favorites against the 3-8 Jets. Is Aaron Rodgers the quarterback?
apparently so. But it appears as if Woody Johnson doesn't really want that to be the thing. But he hasn't won that to be a thing for like what since that report was super weird. Like the first thought that I had when I saw it, which was like after the Broncos game, Woody Johnson thought that Aaron Rodgers should be fired, shouldn't be fired. God damn it, should be
I mean, he
benched.
is the GM, so yeah.
He is. Okay, I guess right now he is the GM, uh, but he should be benched because he wasn't playing up to this standard. And that
Yeah.
feels very much like you're trying to save face at this moment. It's just like you've seen that this has hit the the shit has hit the fan, and it's time to pull the plug on this, and now you're trying to save face. It feels like that. But yeah, Rogers should still be the starter. Apparently, he is. Both sides are trying to save face because now it's Rogers is hurt. He's not even doing MRIs or anything like that to try and assess the damage that he has. Um, so it feels
He'll be the
like
Browns starting quarterback next year for sure.
he's going to start somewhere, and he's going to use the excuse that he was hurt. He isn't washed. He just was hurt for all of the season. So
Yep.
you
He'll be
heard it here
he'll be the
first,
Browns
buddy.
starter next year. All right, give me the Seahawks.
Easy enough. Seahawks minus 1.5. We're losing this game, but I have hope. This is the typical game that we lose. So I have no faith, but I'm picking the Seahawks minus 1.5. Okay, next up it's the Tennessee Titans at the Washington Commanders. The Commanders are 5.5 point favorites after a very good start. They're now sitting at 7-5 after losses versus the Eagles and now versus the
Yep.
Cowboys this past week.
Yep.
It's been rough. The offense has
Super
looked
rushed by the
rough.
Cowboys.
Yeah, offense has looked rough at times. I don't know if they'll have Brian Robinson back. I know that they won't have Austin Eckler back because Austin Eckler was laid out with a massive hit in which he was just laying on the ground, nearly drooling over himself. Um, so that was a rough watch. All of that said, though, again, it just goes a bit like this. Will Levis has potential, or whatever you want to say that he does. He's going to get sacked a bunch of times and he's going to throw a pick six. So you're effectively going to need to throw like the Washington Commanders are actually like 2.5 point underdogs due to that touchdown that is like automatically added to the Commanders. So just give me the Commanders minus 5.5. You will never see me trust Will Levis
Do
in
you
a game in
know
which
what happens on Sunday?
what?
I am off on Sunday, Alex. Give me the Titans.
So you're
I'm gonna...
not watching the Bengals, is what you're saying.
Why the fuck would I want to watch that?
Hey, I think you'll be surprised.
Like I've gotten the pain for 11 weeks now, Alex. I don't need any more pain. It's all good. I've been stabbed in the
I
heart enough times.
just want to point out
Uh,
that we're saying that 278, two touchdowns, one pick six, and being sacked 8 times is a good game. This is the standard right now. So this is what Angelo has watched and has said that this is a good game.
no,
Okay.
I'm not saying it's a good game. I'm saying I don't have as much emotional attachment to the Titans as I do the fucking Bengals. I
No,
don't
no, no,
want to
no, no,
watch
no.
the Bengals give up another 30 goddamn points to an inefficient offense.
You told me that that you watched the Will Levis game and he played well because of that, and now you're
Yep,
saying again that you're
fair.
going to watch the Titans, so he's going to play well again. I'm just saying
Yep,
that
he is going to play well. Yep, he's gonna.
278 yards, being sacked 8 times, throwing a pick six and two
He's
touchdowns
gonna. He's gonna
is
do it, man.
good.
He's
Okay.
gonna show you. He's gonna show you, man. You're gonna be like, wow, I didn't see that coming.
I just don't think he's
That,
going to play a choker right now. It's the thing.
we just dropped.
Jaden Jaden
Tampa
Daniels is just
Bay at
levels.
Carolina. Tampa Bay is favored by 6.5 points. Tampa Bay is really hard to predict. Hmm. Bryce Young is playing better. I think I'm going to go with Carolina here. I
I'm
think
right
I'm going
there
to go.
with you. Carolina plus 6.5. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Is Bryce Young still the starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers next year?
Ooh.
Right
Yes.
now, they're picking fifth.
Yes. I actually don't like the quarterbacks in this class very much. So yes.
I don't think so as well. Like, he has been playing well. This past game, he had a few moments of like Alabama Bryce Young that I liked. And if they're playing fifth or like fourth or even third in this draft, I really don't see, especially with the teams like right now, the top five draft picks are Jacksonville Jaguars, the New York Giants, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Patriots, and the Panthers. All like what? Two of those teams are going to be picking quarterback, like for sure, which is the
Mhm.
Giants and the Raiders.
Yep.
You have the Jaguars in there that are sort of a wild card. You could see them move down with like I don't know the Jets, for example, if they move off of Rodgers. The Jets are picking seven. There's like a real scenario in which Carolina just doesn't really have a good QB fall to them at like five or four or wherever. And like at this point, I really don't think this draft class is on that. I think you have to give another year to Bryce Young because Young, since he came back from the benching, he has been looking very good. Like at times, he's making some of the throws that we saw out of him from Alabama. I feel like as the team is getting along a bit better, the O line is blocking a bit better, the wide receivers are developing a bit more. I feel like he's playing a bit better. So give me Carolina plus 6.5 versus a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that I think is good, but isn't really great at covering um, by margin. Okay, the Los Angeles Rams at New Orleans Saints. The Saints off a
No.
bye are 2.5 point underdogs. Yeah, I still can't trust the Saints, man. Like, car stinks. Give me the Rams minus 2.5.
You said the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams. Give me the Rams.
Give me the Saints. I think Olave is going to be back. I don't know. Is Olave going to be back? I know it's like it's either this week or next week that he's coming back.
Is he going to be back this year?
Yes.
Are we sure about that? Like, those concussions
Yes.
were really piling up.
They are.
I don't know, man. I don't know if he's coming back at all. Let me check if there's any sort of news about him. Well, I guess there's not really a whole lot of news. He wasn't ruled out for the season, but this is like 2 weeks ago. So I don't know. I feel like there's some struggles in there, but he was put on IR 16 days ago, so that's 2 weeks. He's still going to be out. He's going to be out what? Do you have to sit out 4 games or is it like 4 weeks? So even if you're on bye, it counts.
We don't know. That's the question. Because if it's 4 weeks, he should be back. If it's not, he's going to be back next week.
Now, if it's 4 weeks, he still needs to miss the Rams game because he has missed
Oh,
week
okay.
10, 11, 12, and 13. But I don't think the bye counts. So he's not going to be back until Washington at the latest, at the earliest.
Yeah, I'm still sticking with New Orleans. I don't know. Gut feeling. Gut feeling.
It could very
All right.
well be because this Ram team is also kind of weird.
It's hot and it's cold.
Yeah,
So next up, the Eagles, who you are a card carrying member of the Hater Club on. The Ravens, who for some reason you like. Give me the Eagles. I think, in fact, here's my, I guess, hot take. This game isn't going to be close. The Eagles are going to win this like 40-24.
I don't think it's going to be close either, but I do think it's because Baltimore wins. I just want to say that I'm not
This
actually
guy,
I'm not actually a hater this year. I actually like the Eagles team this year. I just feel like
you're a
the
hater.
Ravens are. No, no, I'm not. I feel
The
like
7-4 Ravens.
yeah, the 7-4. I mean, they're like 2 wins behind the Philadelphia Eagles. If they win, they're like a win behind the Philadelphia Eagles. So, it's not like we're talking about a 3-8 versus a 9-2. I just feel like they're similar enough to the point in which I feel like Baltimore being healthier right now, at this point in the season, it's going to push them a bit over the edge. Plus,
They
again,
gave up 250 yards to Jamar Chase.
yes, that is correct.
They they have to face AJ Brown and Devonta Smith.
I'm not sure if
That's
Devonta Smith
ignoring the
is going to
fact that
play.
huh?
I'm not sure if Devonta Smith is going to play.
And Dallas Goddard. And that's ignoring the fact that they'll have Saquon Barkley running amok. No.
That if there's one thing that you can do on the Ravens is run them. So I'm at least safe on that. Now, will they be able to contain AJ Brown? We're going to figure
No.
that out, I guess. I don't think the
No.
answer is yes, but I think they'll be able to contain them enough to the point in which
You're not.
they'll be able to win this game. But I actually don't
You're not.
hate the Eagles this year. I feel like their defense has stepped up. I feel like Quinion
Wouldn't be
Mitchell.
surprised if we wake up in January. It's the Eastern Conference. It's the NFC Conference Finals, and it's the Eagles against the Lions. Wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Sure. I mean, when the Eagles have the Avengers assembled, it's quite easy for Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni to do their thing.
Do
So, and they
their
have the
thing.
Avengers this year. So, yeah, everything is
Mm.
easier when you have the Avengers.
Ah.
But give me
So
Baltimore
anyway,
-2.5. I still like Baltimore a bit more than the Eagles. Plus, I just think like if the Baltimore Ravens beat the Chargers the way that I think they will, this line moves towards the Ravens a bit more. So I'm just banking on that.
you and your banks, get them
Yeah.
out of here. Next game. Oh
The
man.
San Francisco 49ers at the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are 6.5 point
Oh,
favorites.
how
There's
the
not a
49ers.
whole lot of
Oh.
sacrificing happening with the San Francisco 49ers situation. Actually, the only team
Ah.
getting sacrificed are the Niners at this stage.
Not
Just
wrong.
honestly, just give me Buffalo. I feel like the Niners are that one team in which until the end of the season, or until they're mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, everyone is going to tell you they're going to turn this around. They just need to go on the run. They're only 1 game behind. They're only 2 game behind of the division. They're going to make the playoffs. And this is going to be the chatter until the end of the season. And they're always going to be, it's always next week. It's always next week when they turn it around. I don't think they're turning it around because I don't think there's anything better than this. I feel like the injuries that they have right now, to Williams on the offensive line, Brandon Ayuk being out, and now Brock Purdy being hurt. I think he's going to play versus Buffalo, but still, I feel like the injuries on the defense as well. They've been missing a lot of players, and I just don't think that they're up to for this. I don't think CMC's at 100%. Like, I don't even know if he's back. This looks like a different CMC. So, I don't know, man. I feel like this is just what Central. This is just not their year, unfortunately for them, or fortunately, should I say? Because fuck the Niners. But yeah,
Ugh,
give me Buffalo -6.5. I feel like this is just what the Niners are. They're a not so good team this year.
I hate to say it, but I think you're right. I'm going Buffalo, man. The last game, the Cleveland Browns 5.5 point favorites against the Denver Broncos. Or the Denver Broncos are 5.5 point favorites against the Cleveland Browns. Sorry. I'm used to Denver being mediocre. I don't know how to feel about this game. It's just going to be like this every week. It depends on Jameis.
It
Denver's
is.
defense is really solid, so I could see him struggling regardless, but you still can't ignore the fact that Cleveland or Jameis could get hot and then Denver literally has no chance. Give me Cleveland. I like my risks.
Off, I don't know, off a decent game versus the Steelers in which they won. I feel like it all comes crumbling down. Again, it's another spot in which I like the Broncos, in which I feel like the Broncos really aren't all that. And it's probably one of those teams that are going to make the playoffs and be completely destroyed in the first round of them.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
still don't think this is the game in which they get exposed. I feel like this is a game that Bo Nix handles fairly well. Um, so give me Denver -5.5. I feel like we're getting bad Jameis this time around. We got decent Jameis versus the Steelers outside of the one pick. I feel like it's coming back the other way around. It's bad Jameis this week. It's blind as a bat. Jameis coming back.
Mm.
And that's it. That's the week. All games. There's no buys this week, if I'm not mistaken. So we have the full slate of the 16 games. Next week, we're going to have more buys. And then there's that. Yeah, season is drawing to a close. That's week 13. The picks for week 13 right now. Has this season like flown by, or is it just me?
Yeah, it has.
It really just like it seems like yesterday that we were all excited about the results from week one, like the Saints being this juggernaut team that no one really expected. The Bengals maybe being front where well we're still at that spot, I guess. Um, 12 weeks later, and we're still doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like I remember the Vikings beating the Giants and everyone being like, "Yeah, this defense is good," but they also faced the Giants. Now it turns out the defense is actually good. Um, People thinking Bo Nix was going to suck because he faced Seattle and he sucked in that game. The Niners just completely blowing up the Jets, for example, as well. The good days from week one. Oh well, how those have flown by. It's week 13. Picks in the books. Do you have anything else to add, Angelo? Or are we
I
getting out
do
of
not.
here?
You're getting out of here.
We're getting out of here. We'll be back on Saturday, guys. So you'll be listening to this on Tuesday, if I'm correct. So you're listening to this on Tuesday. Next year is coming out on Saturday. Stay tuned for that one. It's going to be jam packed. I mean, we're going to talk about week 12 stuff, week 11 stuff. We're probably going to be talk a bit about the Thanksgiving games as well. So tune in for that. It's going to be a blast of a show. You're probably going to need a bit of time for that as well. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you enjoyed the picks. We're back this week. Sorry for anything last week, for missing last week. It
You missed
happens.
some great. We missed some great opportunity to make some great content last week, and that
Hey,
saddens
hey,
me.
we're going to be back though. We're making up for it. It's not
We are
going to
going to make
be
up for it.
hot fire takes coming straight off the oven. They're going to be
Well, don't
baked
worry.
slowly.
Apparently, the Bengals have not crushed Alex's soul just yet. Apparently, it's going to take another week of watching the same shit that I've seen for the last like 10 weeks
It's just another
to
week.
convince him that the stuff that we've been seeing for the last 10 weeks is actually the stuff that's been happening.
Yeah,
So
I need another week to see that.
you need another week. Okay, you
Uh,
need another week. You
let's
need
see how
another
this
week.
one goes.
You
Let
need to watch the defense blow another good Joe Burrow game to be convinced.
yes,
Okay,
that's
okay, Javi,
that's it. That's
really
it.
great. Good for you. More power to you, buddy. More
We're
power to
we're going to figure that out
you.
in a bit.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you guys again. If you stayed up until right now, thank you very much. If you're listening on the Apple Podcasts, if you're listening on the Spotify app, wherever you listen to your podcasts, really just make sure to leave us a 5-star review. Make sure to leave us a comment. Make sure to leave us also like a just subscribe to the show and turn on the auto downloads as well. Really helps out the show and it's free. So if you're listening on the YouTube, you know what you do. You've been doing it for quite a while, so thank you for that as well. And yeah, stay tuned for the Saturday show. Hope you enjoyed this one. And as always, talk to you later.
Peace out.